Is the Umidigi S3 Pro worth buying? In this video, we're going to find out. Hi everyone, this is Kevin here, coming at you with my Umidigi S3 Pro review. So this device is available, at least at the moment, for $299, factory unlocked, which means that it's not part of any specific carrier and you can switch from carrier to carrier at any time. Now officially, this device is advertised as being GSM unlocked, which means that it's going to work with AT&T and T-Mobile, as well as Cricket and Metro by T-Mobile. However, I have a Verizon SIM card and I put it in this device to test it and everything worked completely fine. The only thing that doesn't work with the Verizon is 3G data, but Verizon's actually phasing out 3G at the end of 2019. So if you're a Verizon user, then you'll be able to make phone calls and use 4G LTE data with no problems at all. Now this device features a 1080p 6.3-inch display and it looks really good. It doesn't get as bright as some other displays that I've used, but it still gets bright enough that everything looks really good. So you're not gonna have any problems at all with this display. It has really good colors. And I guess when I said it doesn't get that bright, don't get me wrong, it's still plenty bright. You're not gonna have a problem with this display at all, but it doesn't get really, really bright that it makes you want to shut your eyes or put on sunglasses, let's put it that way. The device features a MediaTek Helio P70 processor. Now, generally, I don't think too highly of MediaTek processors, but the Helio P70 is actually a really good processor. So, even though this device does not have a Qualcomm processor in it, don't be discouraged at all, and just know that you're going to be able to do a lot of really powerful stuff with the Helio P70. You're going to have no problem playing high-end games such as PUBG Mobile or Minecraft or anything like that, and everything's just going to run really smooth with the Helio P70. In fact, if you're a really big PUBG player, then take a look at my dedicated PUBG video that I did with the Umidigi S3 Pro as the game ran like a champ. Now the device also features 6 gigabytes of RAM, which is insane, and has 128 gigabytes of internal storage. So having that much RAM and that much storage is pretty wild, especially for a device that is currently being offered for $299. That's an insane value, and it's a really appealing spec to have on the spec sheet. Just know that you're going to get really smooth performance with this device, whether it's browsing the web, playing games, or pulling up videos. Also know that by having 6 gigabytes of RAM, you're going to be able to easily switch between applications with no issues at all. Another cool thing is that this device features a 5,150 milliamp hour internal battery, and it runs Android 9 Pie, which is the latest version of Android. Now, one of the biggest features that's touted on this device are the cameras. And there's been some controversy recently about the cameras on the Umidigi S3 Pro. There's some people out there that have been leaving reviews saying that they're disappointed with the camera experience with this device. And I kind of understand where they're coming from because the Umidigi S3 Pro has a 48 megapixel rear-facing camera as the main camera, a 12 megapixel secondary camera here on the back, and on the front, a 20 megapixel camera. And also, this unit on the back is made by Sony. So based off those specifications, you would assume that this device has some of the best cameras out there. But the reality is that even though it has a high megapixel count, that doesn't mean that you're getting necessarily the best photo quality. However, and I think that's kind of why some people have been leaving bad reviews for this device. They're just a little disappointed with the camera quality. But the truth is that you're still getting really good camera performance for a device in the $300 price range. And I'm going to be leaving up photo and video test samples in a second here for you to be able to make a decision on your own about the quality from these cameras. So I think some of the critics of this device just need a reality check because you're not going to be able to get iPhone camera quality for $300. It's just the truth. I'm sorry, it is. So you do get what you pay for. And I think overall for $300, you do get acceptable cameras with this phone. Just know that going into it, don't expect this to be some sort of unicorn where you get magical, amazing cameras that are some of the best on the market in a device that's as cheap as this. So if you're looking to get incredible cameras, then you might want to get an iPhone XS or a Galaxy S10 or maybe an LG G8. But keep in mind that those devices are all around $1,000. So you can get 3 Umidigi S3 Pros for the price of one of those flagship smartphones. So I noticed in some of the photos I took, I was able to get really good depth of field, especially by focusing in on something close up, such as flowers. I was able to get really good macro here, which is a great thing. Also, with the selfies, I thought that the selfies pulled out some nice detail, especially in the face area. Now, some of the color balancing might not be the best out there, because in the photos that I took, the background was extremely overexposed, whereas the foreground, which was me, was fine. Another thing I tried out was the bokeh mode. I was hanging out with TechRight, who's another great smartphone reviewer. Check out his channel. But I tried out the bokeh mode and I thought it did a really good job picking up nice depth of field. Again, this bokeh mode is not as good as the iPhone's portrait mode, but like I've said a million times already, don't expect for the camera performance from the Umidigi S3 Pro to be as good as the camera performance on the iPhone. I understand that they are really touting some great camera specifications here, but you're still going to get what you pay for. And overall, I think you're getting a great value with these cameras on this phone. As far as taking photos of buildings and different things like that, I think it pulls in good colors. It pulls in a lot of detail, of course. And one of the benefits of having a 48 megapixel camera is that you can zoom in really far and everything still looks really clear. I was also able to get some really great looking low light photos with the phone. And these photos really look like photos you'd expect to find from a flagship phone, honestly. I mean, and the low light performance from the cameras on this phone are really some of the best that I've seen in this price range. And that's really impressive. Hi everyone, this is Kevin here coming at you with a test video from the Umidigi S3 Pro. This is being filmed in 1080p at 30 frames per second. Let me know what you think of the quality down in the comment section below. What's going on everyone? This is Kevin here doing a test video with the front-facing camera on the Umidigi S3 Pro. Now this is kind of the middle of the day, so there's some pretty direct sunlight, but let me know what you think. This is in 1080p at 30 frames per second. Now I will agree though with some of the critics that I think Umidigi can do a few more optimizations with the camera software on the S3 Pro to fully bring out the potential of the 48 megapixel rear facing camera. Like I said, I think it's still really good for the price range and it's still class leading for the price range, but I do think there is probably some unlocked potential there that can be improved with a software update. So hopefully at the Umidigi offices, they have a whole team of software experts who are really going into this, trying to improve that software. Because I do think that the quality for the photos and video can be slightly better with some software tweaks. As far as the design of this phone goes, it's really attractive. Now a lot of people compare this to the Umidigi F1, which is a little bit of a similar device, but the materials with the Umidigi S3 Pro are so much better. Of course, having this big 6.3-inch 1080p display is awesome. It's really good for watching video content and browsing the web, as I mentioned before. We do have a little bit of a lip here on the bottom, and we have a notch on the top, but the notch is really not intrusive at all. It's kind of more of a little teardrop bump here on the top, and really the phone just looks sharp and really appealing. On the backside, we have this polished ceramic material that looks really sharp. It really makes this look like a flagship phone. This device really has an amazing look and feel considering that it's $299. We have the camera module here in the back, we have the fingerprint sensor and the flash. We also have the Umidigi logo on the bottom. Then on the right side we have the volume rocker and the power button. On the left side we have the slot for the micro SD card and SIM card. On the top we have the noise canceling microphone. And on the bottom we have the speaker, the USB Type-C port for charging and data transfer, the microphone, and the 3.5mm headphone jack. Another cool thing about this device, on top of this running Android 9 Pie, which is the latest version of Android, is that it's pretty much a stock experience here. Everything is optimized really well. Also, there's no bloatware here. I mean, there's a few extra applications such as this notebook and a few things like that. Of course, I added some as well, such as Speed Test and PUBG Mobile and YouTube Studio. But for the most part, it's pretty much a stock experience. There is no goofy skin that gets in the way of anything. So if you love stock Android, you're going to love the Umidigi S3 Pro. Also, if you like this background, also if you like this wallpaper, I made this myself from scratch in Photoshop. And if you want to download it, then take a look at the link in the video description. I'll also be making more wallpapers similar to this in the future. So if you like this wallpaper, then you'll probably like the other ones that I'm going to be making. So as far as the security options go, we of course have the fingerprint sensor and we have face unlock. The fingerprint sensor works really well. It's really quick. All you have to do is rest your finger on the fingerprint sensor itself. You don't even have to press any buttons such as the power button, and the phone will immediately unlock. It's just super quick. So this just works really well. Having the fingerprint sensor on the back side is really convenient. It's right where your index finger naturally rests. So it's not a problem. It works really well. And Umidigi just picked a really good fingerprint sensor to put in this device. Another cool thing about the phone is that it's dual SIM. So if you have two different phone lines, maybe like a work line and a personal line, you can actually put both SIM cards into the device and it'll work perfectly fine. And you'll be able to essentially combine two devices into one. So we have this really cool USB-C cord here for charging and data transfer, and it's like a non-tangle kind of red material here. So it's just really cool and really unique. I've never really seen anything like this coming with a budget smartphone. We also have the wall adapter here. So this is a Umidigi branded wall adapter for charging. We have a thank you card here. And in this packet, we have the SIM card removal tool and we have the quick start guide. So in the camera app itself, we have a bunch of different modes. So we have time lapse, video with the ability to film video in 1080p, 720p, VGA and GIF. We of course have normal photo mode, which is really awesome. We have Pro mode where you can adjust different settings such as the white balance, ISO, and exposure. We have bokeh mode, which is the same thing as portrait mode or similar to portrait mode, which is found on the iPhone. And we have slow motion. So is the Umidigi S3 Pro worth buying? Well, I think it is worth it. I think this is a great value for $299. Now, of course, the price might change over time. It might go down. So take a look at the link in the video description for the most up-to-date pricing. I don't think this device deserves the amount of criticism that I've seen it get recently. I think overall, people need to remember that this is a $300 smartphone, and if you compare it to other phones in the same price range, you're getting a lot more here for the money. So it still is a really good value. Now, I did mention before that I think the cameras are capable of doing more than what they currently do, and I think that there can be some software improvements that can fix that. But as it is right now out of the box, I think you're still getting good performance from these cameras on the phone, considering the price of the phone itself. And then as far as performance goes, content viewing on here and everything like that, it's just going to overall be a great experience. Having a 1080p display on here, and also don't forget 5,150 milliamp hours of battery life. So this is going to last for a long time. You're easily going to get a day of usage out of the Umidigi S3 Pro before having to charge it. So if you're looking for a device that kind of checks pretty much all boxes, especially in the $300 range, then you're going to definitely be happy with the Umidigi S3 Pro. I think this is one of the best phones that Umidigi has put out yet, with some of the best build quality as well, especially with this material on the back. It just looks super sharp and feels really premium. And if you buy this phone, I think you're going to be really happy about your purchase. But this is Kevin Breeze here. I hope you enjoyed my review of the Umidigi S3 Pro, and I will see you in the next video.